I thought the movie was excellent, and I think that Colonel Ben was illustrative of all of those other Vietnamese officers who served their country. He really laid his life on the line so many times. Then he became a prisoner, and all he had to do was say, I accept communism. He stayed 11 years. And in that 11 years, his wife was able to come and see him 5 times, 1 day a year for 15 minutes. Is that communism?
Well, the reaction is sobering in that we've been taught complete opposite. We would complete that it was a political war when actually it was a war to stop communism and protect people pursuing that the liberty of freedom.
How did you feel about the footage that they showed of the prison camps? I think that was really kind of an interesting perspective that most of us don't ever hear about in the Vietnam War. I mean, Ben spent 11 years in a prison camp. Well, how's that for a new perspective on freedom?
Well, it's sobering, and it's almost disappointing that in our country we can't even conceive that that's a reality, because we wake up every day and freedom and liberties are they're natural. We take them as they're a given, and we don't understand that people do live like this in other parts of the world, and we don't grasp the concept that evil's never content to stay within boundaries. So if we allow that to happen there, what stops it from spreading over? So we can't be isolationist. So to me, it's sad that most Americans don't know that exists even today, let alone back then.
And how did you feel about how it turned out?
Oh, bring a lot of memory. We were stressed so much when you were watching.
You cried?
We were stressed so much when we were watching that movie.
The first hero and my brother, General Lee Tông, and maybe Richard Botkin here, second hero of my second hero. And when I talk with my brother, he tell the truth like that, but I don't feel too much. But when I watch this film, I'm so proud.
I'm here with Todd Anton after Ride the Thunder. He just saw it with us. And what was your reaction to it, Todd?
Outstanding movie. You were talking earlier that it was sad, but it was honest. And this is what we need to get in our classrooms throughout the country, is the honest portrayal of the heroic men and women of both sides who fought in Vietnam, because it's not taught in our schools anymore.
Now, Todd teaches 8th grade, and he's been doing a lot of research on the Vietnam War and walking some of the kids through that. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, a lot of the kids don't have a clue, number one, about the war in Vietnam, because it's as ancient as World War II is for them now. But what they don't understand is the men and women who surround them that fought in that war are willing to talk to them, because the kids have an honest and thoughtful questions to ask them. And it's really opening up a lot of dialogue and a lot of healing for our veterans, which is so important.
And I hear you're even possibly involved in an effort to get that into the curriculum. Could you tell me about that?
Well, we're working with Fred Koster and Richard Botkin, to put together curriculum that'll go in the classrooms. And this isn't some propaganda. It's just there's 2 sides to every story. And it's about time for people to hear both sides and let the individual make up their mind. That's what history is all about. It's not a predetermined outcome. It's using the facts, and this movie really brings that together.
Well, this is the first time that I've seen it, and I knew that it was going to be kind of somber, and it is actually better than I thought it was going to be. I think they did a really good job of filming. They had a message that they wanted to present, and I think they did a very good job of presenting the message.
I'm Wayne Lingenfelder. I'm a retired Marine Major, and I thought the movie was great. We really enjoyed it, and we enjoyed the depiction of the Vietnamese and the Americans working together and doing the things that they were doing over there.
Now, do you feel that it aligned with the reality of what you saw while you served?
Well, it was different than what I saw. I wasn't an advisor, so I can't talk to that, but it was realistic in the sense that what they were showing really happened.
Well, how about you? How did you feel about it?
Well, I think, like Wayne, it was an excellent film, but and it tells a story of Vietnam that I think very few people in this country have heard about, and that's something that happened after Tet, and things went so well, were going so well in Vietnam, and we just don't hear that story. And it ends with Tet, oh, we lost the war, and I don't think that's the case at all.
Now, what do you notice about how American school kids or Americans in general have learned about the end of the Vietnam War and our mission there?
They have no idea. They don't know, they don't understand the politics, the foreign policy, the agreements this country made, they have no idea.
Hi, I'm here with Hugh Hewitt today after the Ride the Thunder premiere, and I want to get his reaction to the film. What did you think about Ride the Thunder, Hugh?
I loved it. I saw it twice today. I came to the 11:20 showing, which was a primarily Vietnamese American crowd, and then I came tonight at the 5 o'clock showing, which was mixed with a lot more American veterans in it. And both audiences loved the movie. The Vietnamese audience reaction was significantly different from the American veteran. The American veterans were moved and touched by the story of their compatriots. The Vietnamese were in parts angry and very chatty about what they were seeing because many of them had survived the re-education camps before they got to the United States. So I think it's going to play very well across the United States. I personally love the fact that they take John Kerry apart and they take Jane Fonda apart and they take Donald Sutherland apart. I didn't know about Sutherland. I wish I'd interviewed him once for 2.5 hours. I had no idea he'd done that. So it accomplished its end. It's very sober. It's not propagandistic. It's just a telling of a story that needs to be told.
I'm here with Eric St. John. He played the lead role of Ripley, one of the lead roles, in Ride the Thunder tonight at the premiere of the movie. And I wanted to ask him what it was like to play that role. I mean, what an incredible, courageous hero Ripley was. What did you learn from that?
Well, first of all, it was a tremendous honor to play this great man. He was a great man, he's a war hero. He's an absolute American war hero, and it was an honor to play him. And it was, you know, there's a responsibility when you play such a great person, you know, and an historical figure. So the research that I did was primarily from Ride the Thunder, the book by Richard Botkin. There's an abundance of great material about him, his life, his family, you know, what he did in the war. I mean, that source material is very rich with details on his life. And so that was a great source to go to research him, you know, and it makes the job easier as an actor when you have, you know, a book with such rich details about this person's life. Usually you're using your imagination and you know, also your life experiences. But in this case, that he's a living, you know, a real person, it was great to have that book to go to and get all those details, you know, and I hope that I hope I did him justice.
What's it like to see it all come together? Are you happy with how it turned out?
Yes, I'm very happy. I mean, mainly, for instance, this morning when I came for the screen test and I saw at 8 in the morning 150 people, that to me like means a lot. That on a Friday, like for the Vietnamese people, this film means so much, and that's what I think is so important about the book. That you're really like rendering an homage to all the brave South Vietnamese and also the American Army and the Marines and all these brave soldiers that they just never got a thank you. They never got a recognition. Because when it comes to war, there's like two sides to everything, and unfortunately all the propaganda that came out was very negative. So I think God bless Richard for writing this book, for taking the time to do all this research, and for like going the extra mile and putting so much money into making this film to really say thank you to all these brave people.
The movie was beautifully shot. I love it. It tells the story from outside. This is the first time it's telling from the Vietnamese side, and we appreciate American soldiers that fighting with us in Vietnam.
Now, in America, some people are critics of the war, and they say that maybe we shouldn't have gone and fought in Vietnam. What would you say to them?
I mean, if you don't never been to our country, you don't know what. We were fighting for our freedom. And we appreciate all the help from the U.S.
Hi, I'm here at the Ride the Thunder premiere. We just left the movie, and this is Captain Ed McCourt, and he served in the U.S. Marine Corps in Vietnam.
With John Ripley, 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines.
He served with John Ripley, the lead character of the book, and he's in the movie as well. Can you tell us about Ripley, who he really was? I mean, this is a legendary character we're being told about in this movie and in this book, but he really existed. What can you tell us about him in real life?
John Ripley was a real Christian type individual. Fidelity was #1 on his list. I mean, for a military person, and not that all military people are kind of rowdy, but he was a super individual, inside and out. He wasn't built very big. He was tall like St. John, but he had determination. he had determination that his troops would follow him to hell and back just because he asked them to go. That's the kind of leader he was. He was just really fantastic individual. I don't know what to tell you. He was in boot camp as an enlisted man. The Naval Academy pulled him out, took him to the Naval Academy, where when he was up there, he was a heavyweight boxing champion. And I met him in Vietnam. And we became very, very close friends. When his company would go out, he was like an NVA magnet. He would, every time they go out, they get in a firefight. And my Marines in the India Company used to like to go with him as one of the flank guards of patrol, because we knew we'd get in something, not just walk around for 6 or 7 days. And other than that, I don't know. He loved his wife dearly, he loved his family dearly, and he loved the Marine Corps, and he loved his Marines. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the betrayal of the Vietnam War and the South Vietnamese? What was your reaction to that, having lived that in real life?
Well, I think it stunk personally, and I think we got the same thing happening right now. You know, we send Marines and we send soldiers, airmen, and Navy SEALs, whatever, to combat, but we got rules of engagement that will not let them win. And this is ridiculous. We didn't learn anything in Vietnam when it comes to that. Then a lot of people that come here, they don't want to assimilate like Americans, like the Vietnamese people do. They want to change things the way they had it. As far as I'm concerned, they should go back where they came from.
Isn't that the truth? Interesting observation there. So are you happy with the way the movie turned out?
I tell you, it brought me closure. I didn't get choked up until I saw the statue at the end. And it bothers me right now, but I thought it was fantastic. You know, Richard Botkin is a personal friend of my wife's and I's, and he put his heart and soul in his package. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm putting out on my email to about 300 people tomorrow and write to the Review Journal in Las Vegas and tell them I think the president should see this movie. That's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you for interviewing with us, and thank you for your service.